First of all, introductions. My name is Armindo, and my channel is all about software development and Python programming. Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can use the Blender Python API to create a 3D model, and I'll try and do that and see how far I can get, to be honest. So, without further ado, let's open up Blender. I'm going to create a 3D model of a photo. And I'll be using the Blender Python API and any other Python libraries I might need along the way. The first thing I want to do to make sure I know what I'm actually doing is to create a very quick hello world. Yeah? So I'm going to start from scratch, and I'm going to just use a very I'll do everything from scratch. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is to import the Blender Python library, which is conveniently named BPY. Then I need to initialize a list of vertices, and I'm going to create for now a single vertex. I'm just going to have one vertex for my example. Then I need to also have a list of edges, but in this case I can have an empty list of vertices. And then I also need to have a list of faces, and I can have an empty list of faces. So just so you know what the face is and what is, so you understand all the concepts. So a vertex is a corner. A vertex is a corner, or more precisely, a point where two lines intersect. Of course, this is assuming that we have an object and all the vertices are connected. But realistically, if a vertex is not actually connected to anything else, then it's kind of useless, right? You need to have a vertex connected to something else to make sense. Otherwise, it's just like a minute point, which has no use. So an edge is basically the line that connects to two vertices. A face, I should have it here somewhere. What is a face? I didn't find face, but a face is basically when you connect three or more vertices. Yeah? Doesn't say here. Oh yeah, face here. It's a flat surface, basically, part of a solid object. Normally you have, in computer graphics, your faces are done with triangles, but you can also have quadrilaterals and so on. As long as it's a surface, flat, then it can be considered a face. So, concepts aside, I have here my vertices, my edges, my faces, and what else do I need? So I need to have a mesh. So I'm going to create a mesh. New mesh equal to bpy dot data dot meshes dot new. So I'm creating a new mesh. And then I can initialize the mesh using the fromPyData method, which takes a list of vertices, a list of edges, and a list of faces. And then I need to call new mesh dot update, and this will update everything inside the mesh to reflect what I've just added to the mesh. So I need to also create an object from the mesh. Okay, so new object equal to bpy.data.objects.new object and new mesh. Yeah. And then once I have the object, I need to add it to the view. So bpy.context.view_layer. And then view_layer .active layer underscore collection dot collections dot objects dot link. The new object. Okay, so what I've just done, I just copied some code that I have created before. I just typed it so that you get to understand more or less the basics of what I'm doing here. So also for myself, because I don't do this every day, so I kind of forget anyway. So here I created a list of vertices, edges, and faces. Then I created a mesh, and then I added to the mesh the vertices and the edges and the faces. Simple enough. And then I updated the mesh. Then I added the mesh to an object, and then the object I added to the view. And that's about it. So I just have to run it, and hopefully there will be no errors. And it failed, so I have an error. So it tells me that the layer connection object has no attribute collections. So I must have copied it wrong. What happened there? Hello? I think I had a problem with my internet. It's not looking good. Yeah. So my internet is gone. But anyway, I think I should be able to continue for now. So I'll continue. Maybe stop the stream because there's no point. So I have here some kind of syntax error I need to figure out. So no attribute collections. Because it's not called collections, it's called collection. Okay, so simple enough. Okay, so I'm just going to run this. And then I have here my object with a single vertex. Yeah, you can see here. That's a single vertex I created. Okay, so before we do any more, let's go and have a look at the documentation. So here, somewhere, I have the method from PyData. Okay, so you can see here, it takes a list of vertices, edges, and faces. and makes a mesh out of it. It's nice to see. Until we have a better way, this is how you should do it. The problem with this representation is that it forces me to basically create a list of vertices and then always refer to the index. So if I want to define the faces, I need to know exactly what's the index of the vertices and so on. It's kind of, don't really like that. So it's kind of, I need to figure out this notation. So anyway, I've done one vertex, but just to give you an idea of how this works, I'm going to try and define a cube, yeah? The famous cube in Blender. So, but I'm going to do it by hand. So, a cube will have 8 vertices, right? So, I'm going to find the 8 vertices in one go. So, I'm going to define everything. So, 1, 0, and 0. And then, so this is okay, I'm going to do something like, anyway, I think I need to draw for this. Okay, otherwise I get lost. Okay, right, so this is a cube. Okay, this is Z, X, and then Y. Okay, my cube is going to be, wait, so my cube is going to be like this. Yeah? Sorry for the horrible representation of the cube. Maybe I shouldn't have the coordinates here. It's not going to help. Okay, anyway, so we have 8 vertices, 8 edges here. Sorry, 8 corners. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then what I need to do is to figure out, I'm going to use coordinates of 1 to make it easier. And then 1 here as well. No, that can't, yeah, 1 here, and so on. Okay, so the first point I'm going to define is this one here. So this is x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. And then z equal to 0, right? Okay, the second point I'm going to define is this one. So this is x equal to 1, y, sorry, x equal to -1, x equal to -1, y equal to 1, and z equal to 0. You realize now that this is actually quite it's tiring, right? Okay, so I've defined 2 vertices. I need to define the third. So I've defined this one and this one. I'm going to define this one as well. So this one is y equal to, this looks like an x, right? Y equal to -1, x equal to, no, I made a mistake. Where am I? Sorry, am I defining this one? Y equal to -1, yes, and then x equal to 1, and then so I've just defined this one, and now I need to define this one. Oh wait, there's z equal to 0. Okay. So I've defined this, and now I define this one. So the second is the other vertex is -1, x equal to -1, y equal to -1, and z equal to 0. Okay, so I have defined 4 points. Okay, so the ones are below, and then the other ones I need to define are above. So I'm just going to copy and paste, and I'm just going to bump the z for all the points. And then we should be able to get at least all the points needed to define a cube later on, once I do the faces. Okay, so let's do that. So I've just run it. And you can see the points here, right? Let's see if I got anything wrong. So we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we have 8 points, yeah? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so let's try and define faces, yeah? And this is how we understand. First of all, I want to show you what an edge is, right? So I'm going to join these 2 points here. I don't need to, but I will. So 0 and 1. And see what happens. Let's delete it. And then start again. Okay, you see? There's an edge here. And the other points are still there because it's hard to see. Because we are sweating an edge. But you see, the edges and the vertices. Okay? So you know what an edge is, and I could create all the edges, and then I could try and create more edges, but I don't really want to. Sorry for that. So I don't even want to define edges. I want to define faces directly. Okay. So going back to Blender. So I'm going to take away this from here. So I've defined 4 points, right, below, and then 4 points above. I'm just going to create a face with 4 points. Oh no, actually I don't need to do that. So faces 0, 1, 2, 3. And that's one face. Oops, did I make a mistake? I wasn't the one. Okay, let me just do it everything first and then. Okay. So something I've kind of made a mistake. I was expecting it. So one of my points must be wrong. Okay. Why do I have 5 points instead of 4? This is the origin, right? Where did I get this origin from? The thing is, I need to make sure they're in order, and that's why maybe this didn't go too well. So they need to be in the right order. So I need to make sure that I specify this one first, this one second, maybe clockwise order. In the documentation, you should tell me. Pi. Okay, but we'll figure out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start here. So this is 1, 1, 1, 0. So that's the right one. Then I go, okay, so I probably should swap this. -1. So this one is -1. X equal to 1 and -1. Okay. And this one is -1, -1. That's correct. And then the last one is 1. This is wrong. This one is -1, -1, 0. And then this one is x equal to -1, y equal to 1, and then 0. So I need to do this one again because I want it to be in the right order. So instead of just changing the vertices, the faces to actually have another order, I just decided to I just decided to change the actual vertices themselves. So what? This is a good start anyway. It seems like I've excluded a point. How did that happen? I'm just going back to object mode, see what happened here. So, I think I've double defined the point, and that's why it's not working. I've defined the same point twice. So 1, 1. Okay, so the second and third point are the same. So it's not going as well as I thought it would be. So this one is x equal to 1, y equal to -1. And this one is -1, -1. As you can see, I have to really get this order right, otherwise it gets very confusing. That's why I don't like this notation so much. Okay, so let's try this. So yeah, okay, so now I've managed to define the bottom face, and then I want to do the top as well. So I'm going to copy and paste the first 4 points again, because I know that the ones I defined before, they are wrong. And I just have to bump the z value to 1. Oops. So the bottom and top face are the easiest. Okay. So I'm going to add another face. So 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so I have the bottom and top face. And now the tricky part is creating a face for this face, yeah? Because now I need this vertex, the top vertex, and this one as well. So the face itself, it's going to be something like 0. So this is 0. And this is 4. And then this is so 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Oops. And then one more. 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 3. Okay. And that's it. I need to run brackets, not square brackets. And you see, I have one more face of the cube. So I need the other face here. So I'm going to have to add another one. So, right, so actually I'm going to do this one first. So this one is the first vertex, 0. This is 1, 0 and 1. and then basically is this is the third one is this is 5. No, 4, and then 5, and then 5. Yeah, so this is one more phase. So let's run it again. Okay, I made a mistake. So what did I get wrong? So this one, 0 and 1. I see, I need to specify, it has to be in order, so I need to specify this one first. So I can't do 5, I need to do 5 here, then 4. Right? So now I've defined it already 1, 2, 3, 4 faces, so I need 2 more. So I'm kind of lost. Let's just delete it. Okay. Now I don't necessarily like this notation. There must be an easier way to figure this out. But so 1, I always start from the bottom. So I started like this, 0, 1. So 1, 1, then you have 2, and then you have this one, which is 2 plus 4, 6. So 6, and then this one is 1 plus 4, 5. Okay, and hopefully this should do one more phase. Yeah, it did. So I'm just missing one. So delete. Okay. I was looking for a pattern, so to make things easier for me, but I don't know, this is not exactly the easiest. This is probably not the right method to try and create a cube, because it takes a really long time to figure things out. So, oops. It doesn't look like a cube, it looks more like a box. Okay. Okay. So I first defined this one. Can't remember. I defined this one first, then I defined this, then I defined this, then I defined this. Now I need to define, so I've already defined this, so I need to define this one here. So -1, -1, so -1, -1, 1 and 0, then 1, 1. So 1 and 0. So this is like 0, 1, 2, 3, 3 and 1. So 3, 1, so 3, then the one above, this is 1, 1, 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Then one more vertex, and then this one. So this one is -1, 1, 1. And then this is 5, I think. No, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. Then, oh, this is kind of complicated, right? Okay, I'm missing a bracket. Oh, okay, so let's see. Oops. So I got the point wrong. I'm going to cheat. So I'm going to go to the modeling section. And I'm just going to copy, just check what points these are. So 1, -1, 1. Then -1, 1, -1. So -1, 1, 0. Okay. -1, 1, 0. That's my first vertex. I'm really like, this is a torture, right? So I need to find the better way of doing modeling with Python in Blender. This is not sustainable. But you know, I was just trying to do a simple example, and it turns out this is not very, if you don't know what things are supposed to be, if you don't use mathematics, it gets very hard. So let's see the coordinates of this. So this one, -1, 1. -1, 1. Okay, this one, 7. minus 1, 1. And then, so 7. It doesn't matter how I get it, I will get it right. 1 by 1. 7. So next one, modeling. This one is minus 1, minus 1, 1. 6. Then I need to go down. Minus 1, minus 1, 0. So 0, 1, 2. 2. Then another, it's just missing one more vertex. And then here, minus 1, 1, 0. Minus 1, 1, 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3. Okay. So that should do it. Okay. Right. So I've managed to do something that looks like a box. Let's make it a cube. The reason why I didn't make a cube is because I started with the index 0, right? So z equal to 0 and then z equal to 1. And then everything else is more like there's a, I know how to fix that. So I'm going, instead of 0, I'm going to make it minus 1. Hopefully this is not going to change much. It shouldn't. Yeah, and then they should do it. So now it should be a cube. And now, so I have a cube now. Easy. Easy, wasn't it? It's much. But, you know, I've kind of went brute force. And this is not a sustainable way of trying to define a cube. Yeah. So how else to do it? So I've managed to define a cube the hard way. So I'm going to try and create a surface, like a rectangular surface. Let's start over again. Going to delete this. So I'm going to create a rectangular surface. And okay, it's not just with 4 points. I'm going to create, I mean, one of the goals one of the things I'm trying to do is to replicate what I've done before, where I basically, there's another video on my YouTube channel where I actually created a 3D model out of a photo using NumPy, STL, and so on, right? And what I'm trying to do now is to do the same exercise, but using only Blender and the Blender Python API. So it should be fairly similar, but the API is not, the way I represented the 3D model last time was different from what I can do now. So I need to adapt and change my approach. So this is my surface, and each point in a surface is going to have, so I'm going to divide, for example, this side I'm going to divide it in 10, for example, and I'm going to have 10 points, right? Okay. And so on. So each, I'm going to divide it in rows and columns, and then I'm going to merge these points together using triangles. Okay, now we'll do it for the whole of the surface, obviously. So I need first to define the vertices, right? And then I need to create the faces out of the vertices. Okay. And then the faces will be like something like, for example, this is one face, and this is another face. Okay, so excuse me. So let's do that. So faces. So I have my vertices here. So I'm going to create my vertices first, right? I'm going to start from scratch again. This is everything empty. Okay, so there is no way there's no way I'm going to do this by hand, right? So I'm going to create an array where this is like 0 and this is like this is n. So this is like a row, right? So this is a row. So I'm going to define the vertices from left to right, and then below left to right, and so on until I get to the bottom. I'm going to use n. N. So I'm going to call it this width. Yeah. And then this is height. So you can call it like W. And then this is H. So we define my W is my width. For example, let's say 100. Then my H is equal to 100 as well. So it's going to be like a square, right? So I'm going to define a square, and I'm going to divide this square by points, right? So each point is going to have, so I'm going to call it, so each of these points here is going to have how do we call it? This is like, I'm going to call it dx. Yeah. And then there is dy. So I'm just coming up with the names and initials and variable names. Well, dx, no, this is dy, sorry. Dy. Yeah. So this is dy and this is dx. I'm sorry for the mess. This is not exactly the best way to show something, but that's how I'm doing it. So I'm just going to call it dx equal to 1. So I'm going to keep it simple, and dy equal to 1. So we're going to create a point for each unit of 1. Dx equal to 1 and dy equal to 1. I can always change these values later on and make it, I can use less points or use more points. Doesn't matter. So for x in range of 0 to w, so 0 to w minus 1, this is actually going to give me, okay. So let's have a look at the definition for range in Python. Python, because I know it will use 1 as the default step function, right? And I want to have different steps. So you see a step here? So I can specify a step. And my step is every time you basically, for example, if I go from 0 to 10, my default step is going to be step equal to 1. But I might want to change that and make it step equal to 2. So that's why I want to use a third argument, and that's why I introduce a dx and a dy. So I'm going to pass in dx, yeah, as my step function. So I know that my x will be x equal to 0, x equal to 1, x equal to 2, and so on, okay? Then the same thing I can do for now. Let's just define points in the horizontal, the first line, and then we'll define n lines that we need. So I'm just going to pass in my vertices. Is going to be I could do a list comprehension here. But I prefer to make this simple, you know. I know I'm not that good at Python, so I just want to take it easy. So vertices equal to empty list, right? So I'm just going to do a simple vertices.append, and I'm going to append my a simple verse. Okay, so my first vertex is going to be x, y, and z. Okay, so I'm going to, this is just a surface in a 2D plane, so I don't have any heights for now. So I'm just going to make it simple, 0, right? So z is always equal to 0. Because I'm only doing the first line, why is it going to be equal to 0 as well? The only thing that would change here is going to be x, okay? I don't need to define this again because I already defined it here. Yeah? So, right, so what do I do? So that's it, right? I just have to run this and see what happens. Simple enough. Just have quick wins. That's what I want to do. I want to increase my confidence in what I'm actually doing before I get lost in details. So it seems like I have an extra bracket here I don't need. So, you know, I thought I took it out. Okay, so I've done it. It's just, okay, you see? Okay. So you can see like the points I've defined already. So the first step was actually fairly simple. Yeah. So you can see my first row. So it goes from 0 to 99. So if I go into the modeling view, x0 goes all the way to 99. Yeah, because it always starts from 0. Okay, so I've done that. So I think I'm very confident now I can do the reminder. So let's go back to our Python script. Scripting. Oops. Okay, so I've done the first thing. Now let's do the row. So I've done one row. I want to do n rows now. So for y in range of 0 to h, and then my step function is going to be dy. Yeah, and then I'm going to add my vertices. So y, basically x and y, and still z equal to 0. And you'll see that I should get a lot more points now. Right? Simple. So this is my beginning of the surface. Okay. Nice. So you know why I need so many points? Because if I'm going to create a 3D model out of a picture, I need to vary the height of each point later on. So that's why I'm actually doing this. So simple. What? Wow. He looks very bright. Okay. So I've managed to do something important. So I've already, now what I want to do is faces, right? So obviously I can't just go and count. I can't just do vertex by vertex. I can't create the faces vertex by vertex. But I can do something else even better, which is to basically build the faces as I go along. So how does it work? Let's look at our diagram. So I need to, so let's say this is the first point, right? So this is my first face. And then this is my second face. So when I'm here, I know I want to create, I think this is better done in a separate for loop, so I don't try to be too smart. So for x in range of 0 to w dx. I probably should make it lowercase x, but I'll do that later. Right, so if I'm here, my face is going to be so it will be Okay, so I need to find the index. I don't need to actually look at this list. I just need to consider that, for example, this is 0 index. This is like 0 plus. Okay. So face V1. So for the first vertex is going to be, let's say, X. It's not, but it will equal to X. So I need to define two triangles, right? So face equal to index 1, index 0, index 1. But it can't just be like this, because I need to also go through the rows. Yeah, so X times X plus Y. Oops. So the way, it's hard to see it here, right? So I'm just going to do it here. So let's say with 3 vertices, right? So this is our rectangle with 6 vertices, right? I want to connect this vertex to this one, and to this one, and then to this one. But imagine there was more vertices behind me, okay? So we know this is 0, y equal to 0, and then this is y equal to 1, and so on, right? So to calculate the actual, because we're putting in a list of vertices, we're putting all the vertices in one big row, right? There's different ways to do this. To find out which vertex I need to connect for creating my face, there's ways I can do this. For instance, I am going through each point in this surface, right? So if I want to calculate the actual where this vertex is in my list, then I just have to multiply. So the number of, so if this is y equal to 2, yeah? So my index is, my current y, wow, okay. My current y is equal to 2 times the number of columns that we have, right? Which is like, in this case, 3. 2 times 3, 6, plus my current position in terms of x, right? Plus x. So if I go here, so my current, the face I want, the first face is this one. So let's say I'm here, like, so this is the first face I want. So I do x, so this is my x plus y times the number of the width, right? So if y was equal to 0, then it would be 0. If y was equal to 1, then it would, it will be W, and so on. Oh. Okay. So that's my first face. So my first vertex is this one, x plus y times w. So if my point is, let's say here, x equal to 1, so x equal to 1 would be, and y equal to 2, so 2 times 3, 6, plus x, 1 is 7, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think, no, I made a mistake, sorry. So if x equal to 0, yeah, that's fine because it's counting from 0. Okay, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is correct, right? So this is the first vertex here, and then I want to pick this vertex as well. So it would be like the same as above, but I just add one extra, so plus 1. Okay, we do have to be careful not to get to the end, but I will figure it out in a second, right? So this is the second phase. No, it's not the first phase, but the second vertex. Then I need to create the third. I need to also specify the third vertex, which is the third vertex is somewhere here. One second, where am I? Okay, here. So the third vertex in this case is here, but I could specify this one instead. No, I have to specify this one. So this vertex, and then this vertex. So I do need to do the same thing. I need to add an extra row to it to get this number. So this vertex instead of adding, so I need to do y plus 1 times w. Yeah, so I will get the index below. Yeah, so it should give me this. So this should be the face I'm defining. So just to see if I'm completely wrong or not, I'm going to try and see what happens if I just add this face. So to get so my faces will be like faces.append face v1 face underscore v2 and face underscore v3. Okay, so then I need to worry about making sure I don't get to the end of the list. So I'm going to have to do w minus 1 and h minus 1, because if when I get to the bottom list, then there's not, I can't just keep going down. So I need to go one row below. So when I get to this here, then there's nothing else below it. So I don't want even to get to this point. So I'm only going to go up to here, and up to here. Because I will be connecting anyway the points. Okay, so let's see what happens if I run this. Let's see if this actually works. I very much doubt the first time I'm going to get any code to work. But oh my goodness, this is not as difficult as I had imagined. So it seems like I've managed to create my triangles, but I've missed something very important. I need to make sure, what if dx equal to 2, right? So I need to make sure I have my dx also part of this. So dx, it's a good question. If I make dx equal to 2, it should have less triangles, right? Oops. Oh my god. Did I just crash Blender? What happened there? Oh, I just have to write that code again. I can't believe it. It's not a very good... Seems like I broke something. I broke an array of some kind. Oh my god, I think I kind of blew it up. So, oh man, I should have saved this. What's going to happen now? Oh, that sucks. I think I might have actually inadvertently crashed Blender by going out of bounds or something like that. I'll find out soon if this was a fluke or bad luck, or it's just something that happens all the time. As soon as I try to run the code, make that change again that I've just done, I'm just going to make sure this still works. I typed everything as I had before. Okay, I can see the mesh and half of the triangles. Okay, and what messed it up was this. So I'm going to get ready for this to crash again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I know how I crashed it. Nice. Okay, so anyone playing with Blender and Python, better save there. You better save your stuff from time to time, otherwise you lose it, just like I did. So I'm going to create a project. So and okay, so I'm just creating a project, and then I also try to save. So this time I copy and pasted my script. Okay, and I'm going to save it. Okay, python.blend. Hopefully this will work. Okay, so I can run this again. Delete. So to make sure that this doesn't break again, so if I do dx equal to 2, when I go here, I have to use dx. This is dy. So h minus dy rather than w minus 1, so dx. And then instead of plus 1, I put plus dx. And this one is y plus dy. So this should hopefully work. but don't trust it. I don't trust it anymore. I lost all my trust. Okay, so let's see what happens if I run this. Fingers crossed. Oh, doesn't work. What did I do wrong? I'll figure out. Okay. If I don't lose my work, it doesn't cost me anything. Okay. So back to where I was. And then I think I'm missing something. Well, you know what? It's always helpful sometimes when you just comment things out. Let's say I delete this. What? Why does my delete button not work? Oh. What did I just do? I think it's doing something. Okay, so. I should be able to use backspace. Okay. So let's run this. Okay, if I just run this bit of the code, it works. Only this bit doesn't work. Let's just do one thing like print x, y. So f. Should be able to see this in the console. We can find it. Anyway, let me just try this. It didn't fail, so it must be okay. So it wasn't this code that crashed the whole thing. It was this one. So x plus y times w. Okay. The problem with that is I'm assuming that the number of vertices is the same. This is trying to get the index of the. Okay. I think I'm figuring out slowly but surely. So if I decided to only do vertices with, you know, every two vertices, it's going to, instead of creating dots for 0 to 100 every dx equal to 1, I'm actually doing dx equal to 2. So I'm going to do, this is 1, this is 2, and 3. So by the time it gets, so instead, basically I have half of the vertices as I would have before. So I can't just multiply y times w because that would be wrong. So it would have to be something w divided. So I would have to make sure I divide w divided by dx. Yeah. For example, so if w was 100, then it would be 50. This might give me a floating point number. Still don't know what to do with it. For now, I will divide this and see what happens. And then I have x here. X is okay because it's varying by dx amount. And then for the face, for the vertex below, I need to also do the same, right? But the thing is, it should be a whole number, and then I'll have to see what happens when I try to deal with fraction with odd numbers. My hope is I don't have to deal with it. So same here. Okay, so hopefully this is going to work and not crash. Let's hope. It's crashing again. Thanks for that, Blender. It would be a lot easier if you just told me what's wrong with it rather than just crashing. I have to try and smile, but it's hard to smile when Blender is crashing every minute. Okay. What happened there? Scripting again. Oh, open the project. Then I'm just going to paste again the code I had before. And I have no idea what this is now. To be fair, I should also divide y by dy. I think I shouldn't be doing all of this here. I need to probably put this outside so I don't have to. Oh. Okay, let's just go back. Well, to be fair, I would have to do the same thing here. I have to divide this by dy. Why is it here that y divided by dy plus dy? Then I can substitute later this. Yeah. So x plus. So x divided by dx. So all the numbers need to be divided by dx. Okay. So I don't like, it's getting complicated, but I think I can simplify this later. If it doesn't crash again, that doesn't simplify anything. Okay, show details. Okay, not a good experience, to be fair. I think I need to comment out everything and just like be very careful. In fact, I'm going to do one thing, which is, it's not helping me to start from here. So I'm going to start Blender from the terminal so I get to see all the error messages. Okay. So I see again. Right, so give me a second. Right, so back. Okay. So I'm still trying to get this not to crash. Not having a lot of luck today, to be honest. But I'm going to try and just do one by one. Just figure out whether I actually I'm actually doing anything wrong or not. So x divided by dx and plus y times, okay, so I need to divide this by dy. This, so the first, so it should hopefully not break this one. Okay, so I've managed to get, so this one didn't break. I wanted to give this a name, so so I don't have to repeat it everywhere. Just let me put this right. This is my name until I find something better. Right. Okay, so DDY. And then later on, if I feel inspired, I will pick a better name. So instead of doing x divided by dx, I'll just do ddx. And then ddy. And then this one I can keep it. But even w divided by ddx is like, okay. Can call it ddw just to be complete. Because the algorithm is pretty much the same. It's just that I need to substitute some of the variables. No, might as well do dd h divided by dh. No, by dy. Okay, so this is it. And then I can just run this again, see if it still works. Save it, of course, to make sure I don't lose any more work. Shouldn't crash now, because all I did was replace names. Okay, so let's do the second vertex of the face. So ddx plus dx plus ddy, and then this one is ddw. This actually could be defined outside the loop, doesn't matter. Okay, so it should hopefully be something that doesn't break, because I'm replacing these variables. I don't even need to use brackets there. I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, but let's see. Syntax error. Just take the extra brackets to make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay, so this one compiled. So next one, ddx, remove brackets, dx, ddy, and then ddw. Okay. Let's try again. Okay, seems like it compiled at least without crashing. I'm going to delete all these extra objects because now it's time to try for sure. So let's see if I can create the faces. Oh, seems like I've made a bit of this was not intended because I was only doing half of the faces, right? But it seems like I've managed to do. That's impossible, eh? What's going on here? Oh. What did I just do? I have no idea. It looks a bit exquisite. This is always what I intended, right? Just wanted to do a very funky shape, and I've managed to do that. Okay. I was only planning to do covering half of the surface. Let me just put this back to 1. So everything that I've done here should default. It should be the same as before. So I should be able to get what I want. Unless I've modified the behavior of the whole thing. Okay. Obviously I did. I didn't just replace variables, I also changed the behavior. Okay, so ddx this is the index of a first vertex in the face. So the first vertex is this one. So width, and then this is the dy, right? This is the dy basically. I think sounds correct. Then it should be this one plus 1. This should be correct as well. And then This one. So I've made a mistake here, but I think now it should work. What happened? So this is it. What happened there? It doesn't look very oh. Okay, it does have lines. Okay. Just using brackets, it kind of helps a little bit. Actually, this does help in this case. Okay, so let's try again, see if I'm lucky this time. Yes, yes, that's it. Oh, what happened to my... Why is this so... so huge? But anyway, I got the triangles. This is exactly what I expected. I just don't know why it's not allowing me to zoom out for some reason. Zoom in. So let's try dx equal to 2, dy equal to 2, and see what happens. Okay, still doesn't like it. So it seems like I still have a bug there. D Good. Okay, so just lost power, but continuing now. I was trying to figure out why my blender keeps crashing, but I know it's something to do with me going out of an array and crashing Blender. I'm just trying to figure out. I had something working, you know. I'm just wondering if I kind of made a big mistake. Because I really don't need to do what I'm doing. It's quite convenient to work with units because it's much easier to figure out how to increase it and decrease it. I can transform the points anyway. There's other ways to zoom in, zoom out. So I don't need to do this really. But since I've already I kind of started it. So let me think. So this is the vertex that doesn't seem to work. I'm going to put a 0 here. So I figure out which vertex is actually breaking. They are indexes. Each face is an index in relation to the vertices here. So if it's the third vertex that's breaking everything, then I'll know. Okay. If not, so it's the third vertex. So I have something here that it doesn't like. Oh, see, it's not plus, it's minus. Or not? Because I want to go down, right? Plus, yeah, should be okay. So what's wrong with this? Okay, I just print it out. I'm not going to add anything. Just going to print it. Never mind. So window toggle system console. Why I never find it? Because I don't have it. No mind. I'll just exit. I need to open it via the terminal. That's what I learned the hard way. That's where I get my system console from. Window, open recent. Okay. Oh. So these are the faces. The vertices number. Wow, this is a lot bigger than I thought it would be. So 100 times 100 is 10,000, right? So if I want to create just avoiding 14 points anyway. No, this shouldn't matter. So 10,000. So this kind of matches. So if I divide it by 2, it should be like 5,000. No, 2,550. So 5,550 times 2,500. And what's happening is it gets to the bottom and it goes above the limit. Oh, I see. Can't do this. Can I? So I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong by adding some debugging. So just kind of I think I'm letting it go to the last row. Hmm. Right, I don't know what I'm doing really. So I'm going to start again. I was doing so well until I got stuck. Oh. Oh, I see. Okay. You know what? I don't think this is a good idea. I'm going back to the code I knew was working. I don't need to, I can do use other methods to make these, the mesh exactly the size I want. Okay. Okay, so I don't know what happened to my Blender. It doesn't allow me to. My wheel is no longer working. So the zoom. Okay, so I've managed to go back to where I was before I tried to be smart, and I've given up being smart. I'm just going to get this to work. So I've defined half of the triangles. I need to define the other half now. So true triangles. So I'm just going to reuse the variables. So the first triangle was this one. The second triangle is this one. So the first triangle is, the first vertex is this one, the same as the one above. So I'm going to keep it the same. The second vertex is this one. So x is the same, but y is one more. And then the same for the, so the x, so the last vertex is here. So it's one more x, it's correct, and one more y. So that's correct as well. So I'm just going to do this. And it should give me a full surface now. Okay, which I can't even zoom out of. I don't know why. I just don't know why. What did I do that caused this to happen? So I'm going to copy and paste this so I don't lose it, and I'm going to get out. Maybe I'll have better luck once I restart Blender. Okay. So zoom is working here. So let's go to scripting. New. Okay. Now. Okay, so I've managed to get my surface, yeah, and I can use a zoom in and zoom out again as normal. I don't know what happened just now, but this is good. So if I go to edit mode, I should see the vertices. You can see there's lots of vertices. That's enough. So I could actually start working on my 3D model now. So to get my 3D model, I basically need to change the height of each vertex based on the picture itself. So I'm going to take a photo from my own library, and I'm going to convert the photo to grayscale. So grayscale only has values from 0 to 255. So as you know, in the color photo you have three colors, right? And each color is represented by a hexadecimal number, which actually is a number from 0 to 255, right? So for RGB, for example, you have 3 colors, so you have 3 values. But we're going to convert the picture into grayscale. So I'm just going to open a picture here and I'll show you which one I'm thinking of using. So let's open I'm going to find a photo. A cool photo, right? So, I want an epic photo. I'm not sure this is the best one, but it looks epic. So let's do, I needed one with more contrast, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to use this one. No. Okay. So I have 2 pictures. We can try both actually to see the difference. So Okay. So I'm just going to take these two photos. So I have here this photo of me in it's not far away from the canyon. And another slightly different picture, more epic, but with sunset. This actually might make it a bit more difficult for my algorithm, but we'll try it and anyway, see what happens. So I'm going to convert these two pictures into a 3D model. And I already have the hardest part of the code written. So first thing I need to do is I'm going to use pill to basically load the image from a file. I'm going to copy and paste. I have a tutorial I've done for a previous, because I've done this before, but without using Blender. So I'm just going to adapt this tutorial, right? I don't want to do this again, to be honest. Right, so what is it? The code is in GitHub. So I'm going to adapt the code. 3D. You can have a look at it. So the code itself, the notebook already has code that does what I want to do. So I don't need to reinvent the wheel. But I can explain to you what everything does. This was done differently, so don't necessarily worry too much. So here, I'm going to, I wonder if I can even import pill from here. I'll find out. I'm just going to save whatever I have here on Medium so I don't lose it. Okay, so I'm just going to copy the path to the terminal. Okay, see what happens. I'm just going to see if even I can import this. I'm not worried about displaying the image. Just run this and see if there's any error. So there's a console error. I guess it's to do with the fact it can't find the library. There's no module named pill, and this is where I need to figure out how to install libraries in Python. In Blender, I know how to do it in Python. Install additional Python libraries. Nice. Oh, why can't it just be easy? Okay. So there's something called ensure pip. What does that mean? So it's not easy to load the extra Python models into Blender from the very search I've just done. Okay. So I can try find where the location of the Python that Blender is using, and hopefully that will help me. So why things can't be easier? It's always a pain. But then you know what it means to use Blender to do 3D modeling with Python, right? There's some advantages and some disadvantages. I would say having to okay, so if I just go to the terminal and then I just run pip. That's what you're saying basically, right? Sudo. So I don't really know my password anymore, do I? Thanks for that. Oh, maybe that's just a directory, right? Sure, pip. What does that do anyway? But I don't know what it. Okay, so you just installed pip. Okay. It's for Windows. I don't think this is acceptable. Having to
Mom is asleep.
so this is getting to be a nightmare. Okay. I'm still trying to figure out how to even find pip, much less installing the library I need. It's not great. The instructions only seem to work for Windows. Mac. Maybe I can do something like this. Pip. Install pip. Okay, might be getting somewhere. Pillow, okay. Okay, so I installed Pillow. Hopefully Blender will pick it up. I'm going to restart it just in case. Oh goodness me, it's not easy. Thought this was going to be a walk in the park. It turns out it's a whole afternoon trying to do some simple things in Blender. Okay, so open recent Python. Okay, let's see if it works now. Okay, this is a good sign. It's not complaining about pill, it's complaining about a missing file. It's doing a double slash, so that means I don't need to add the backscape. I don't need to I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Okay, so I've managed to import the image, and so what I did last time, I converted the image to grayscale and also reduced the size. So I'm going to do the same. So, but I'm just going to copy the code. So I just have to do .convert. And this will convert to grayscale. Be careful not to add A here, because I did that last time and it added me an alpha channel. The alpha channel is for transparency, but we don't need transparency in this. Okay, so my image is there. then I just have to define my sizes. So how big I want my 3D model to be. So this is a max size. It depends on the proportion of the picture. So, but it will be a maximum of width of 500 and a max height of 500. Then these two numbers are basically to define how tall the Z value can go up or down. This is because I want, basically I want to use for each pixel, I'm going to use the intensity of the pixel to calculate basically how high I want that pixel to go in my surface, in my 3D surface. So I specify, but I don't want it to go all the way up. So I specify a maximum of height of 10. So everything that it does, it will be proportional to these limits. Then I just do, basically, then I just have to resize the image according to these values here. Okay, then I convert the image to a NumPy array. Then I basically calculate the max and min pixel. So the lowest pixel value, for example, it might be 100, not 0 for sure. But you know, you might have in your picture you'll have a band of values. Let me just start again. This one, new. Excuse me. So what I'm trying to say is, let's do a graph. It's easier to understand. So this is 0, the minimum value, and this is 255, the max. If you do a histogram of like the image itself, you might find that this is like pixel. Wow, I can't even write. And this is the, what's that? This is the actual intensity. Okay. Okay, right. So you get the point. So you might have something like this in terms of boundaries, right? So you have a max value, and you have a min value. So what I'm doing, I'm just getting the max value from the histogram, from all the intensities, all the pixels. I'll get the highest value and the lowest value. And then I'll use that to also calculate the depth of the 3D model. And that's what I'm doing here, right? So this is easy. So max, so I have a NumPy array, and I'll get the maximum value, and then I get the min value. And then what I do next is calculate how big my, you know, instead of I have here 100, 100, but this is actually going to be, I'm going to call this W, and I'm going to call this H, right? And it's based on, so I'm using the actual size of the image to calculate this, how wide our model is going to be, or how high is it going to be. And what else? And that's pretty much 8. Then I have to basically add a section here to calculate how high my pixels are going to be. And I can add it somewhere here. Do you remember I added 0 every time here? This is always going to be 0, right? But now I'm ready to basically define a value for this. And it's going to be a simple one. So just to get it, so y, then x uppercase. So pixel intensity, I'm just getting the pixel intensity for these coordinates, and then I am basically dividing multiplying the pixel intensity by the max height, and then I'm dividing mine by max pix, right? Which is the maximum pixel intensity. And this is how high it goes. I didn't use the min for now, but we could add it later. And that's it. Like, there's not much more to it, right? So I should be able to get something up and running now. Let's see what happens if I run this. It's a failure. It fails somewhere. So let's see the console. Not defined. Gray image not defined. Why? Where is gray image? Okay, I can't even call it gray image here. Okay, so another error. NP, numpy is not defined. For import numpy as np. And now another error. None type. Object has no attribute size. Line 16. Resized image. Why doesn't it have a size? Okay, I think I made a mistake. Okay, so I have fixed the problem, and I have here something that looks like a 3D model, but not very convinced. So which picture I'm looking at? This one. Maybe I need to let it be a bit more, let's be a bit more generous in terms of the height you can use. So I want to make it more well-defined. Let's see what happens. Okay. Didn't work too well, does it? Let me see this. I think this is not the best picture anyway. Okay, I'm going to try another picture, just see if I've made a fundamental mistake. Wow, this is too big. So, max height. First of all, I'm overriding. I made a mistake here, I see. So, I have, let me just put the height somewhere more sensible. dx is not defined. I thought I got rid of dx. Oh no. You still have the variables there. I thought I wasn't using it anymore. It's okay, it's a 1, but dx equal to 1. Equal to 1, it doesn't matter. Okay, this looks a bit more promising. Although it looks a bit broken, if you ask me. Perhaps I've swapped. It should do something like this. Let me just check. No, this was correct. So I don't know. I can't see a little bend here. So maybe if I let it be a bit bigger, maybe I have better luck. Actually, I need to do one thing first. First of all, I want to make these a bit smaller. Less height, maybe it's easier to understand, to see the definition. Oh, it's not. Oh, I can see that there's something wrong. Okay, so I can see that I've made a mistake. Just have to figure out which code is it. Because before, I didn't have this problem, right? Maybe because I see. Okay, so okay, so I put everything back to 0. Just trying to debug something I thought was working, but it's not. And it might be to do with the fact that I was using 500 times 500 and I was swapping, and I'm swapping something. For sure, I'm swapping some coordinates. Print. F. $500, 375. So hopefully it will be easier to figure out what's going wrong. Because it's supposed to be like small triangles. Okay. Scripting. Okay, so dx equal to 1, dy equal to 1. I'm going to make my instead of, okay, I'm going to override this for now. Okay, let's see what happens, whether it fixes it. What? Double. It looks okay, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Okay, I'm going to make it a lot smaller. 10. Might be easier to see what's going on. So what I'm going to do is just change the shape. So it's not a square. Ah, let's go in here. Just so it seems like I'm always connecting every single vertex to the same points. Oh, see. I don't know if it makes a difference, but so y equal to 0, then I do the x's. Oh. The order, it's to do with the order. Not this one so much. My assumption is that I was adding vertices like this, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then start here, 5, 6, 7, 8. But actually I was doing the other way around. I was going here, then here, and then here. So it's to do with the sequence. So I need to make sure that I start, so I just need to swap these two lines so that my order is the one that I expected, right? Because the faces, they need to refer to the correct index. And so if you make the wrong assumption of how your vertices are created, then you won't be able to get the right vertices. And that's why I was getting this wasn't working. So I should be able to fix it now. Some minor issues with the lines. So it's indentation errors. That's not a problem for me. You know what? I'm going to let these guys be back. Okay. Okay, and then let's see. All right. Line 26. Okay, of course. Okay, so like this. So now I get a proper rectangle, and that's how I want it. So I don't need to do this anymore. I can just get the real width. The reason I was doing that is just to experiment and see what's wrong. And what else? I think I should need to replace Z. So let's see what happens now. Exciting, eh? I'm almost done. Also, I think Z is not defined. Of course it is. Of course it is. So let's do that. And now it's the moment of truth. Wow, 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 wow. So this is where I can already start enjoying the fruits of my labor. This definitely looks like a little pen. You see my face there? You can tell me. You can tell that you see I'm facing the river. This is clearly a 3D model. I'm facing the camera, but you can see the river here, and this is me. And if I want to make this a little bit more interesting, let's see if I can make it a little bit more defined. You know, I can increase the actual, instead of max height equal to 10, I can do 30 and see what happens. Yeah, so you see it's a bit more depth. So you can play along with these values. So the thing that I need to do later on, not today, I can just make this, I can close this surface, make it a solid, so I can print it afterwards as a little pen. But as you can see, it's not that hard to create a little pen using the Blender API. I know it takes a bit of time to figure out how to do it, but it's fairly simple once you try it, once you get it to work. I was trying to be too smart today and I ended up complicating things a lot, but at the end I've just backtracked in what I was doing. Let me just open another file, just create another 3D model with the second picture I had. It's going to look quite good as well, I'm sure, with the sunshine. Okay. So I need to, let me just go into the modeling section. I don't even remember how to use I used to know all the shortcuts, but I've forgotten most of them. But what's it called? Z? No. X? Translate? How do I do it? Move? Oh no. So let me just find out. Blender translate shortcut. G, okay. Thank you, G. So G, so I can see both. So this is the first one and this is the second one. Let me just make it clear. Oh, look at that. I think this is awesome, right? Yeah, finally got it. So I should bask in my glory right now, because look at that. This is an epic 3D model. I could just get it printed actually. It looks very cool.